even for a single moment, if you can be absolutely free, utterly free, then you will know the tremendous value of individuality, and you will know the tremendous force called the individual. See, as of now, individual is suffering. He's suffering his own knowledge. He's suffering his own reasoning and questioning, and he's suffering his own ideologies. In a way, it's bound to happen because an individual takes birth as an idea. You'll have to understand, an individual is a beautiful quality that takes birth through a desire, which is an action. But he's always born into a collective system. He's born into a family. So in a way, an individual, if you have to express this grammatically, an individual is an adjective who takes birth through a desire of a verb into a collective noun. So an individual is nothing but an adjective trapped in a collective noun. So he's born into a family. Now, what is family to him? He does not understand the family, because all he knows how to recognize another individual. He can see his father, he can see his mother, he can see his brothers, sisters, but he cannot understand this idea of a family. It just seems elusive. Now, he tries to fit in to the family. Now, you look at the trouble. He's an individual and he's trying to fit into a collective ideology which doesn't even make sense to him. And then he's made to go into another collective noun, the school, where again he's taught to follow certain things, to do certain things, and again follow the rules of the school. Again his individuality is troubled. I mean, what am I doing here? What is my purpose? Why am I in this school? And then from there he moves into work. Even at work, he's in an organization. And an organization is also a collective noun. There is a common purpose, everybody is working towards it, and he has to fit in. So in a way, an individual is automatically given all these collective ideologies. He's given a country, he's given a religion, he's given a family, he's given a place to work. So almost throughout his life, he remains confused about one most important aspect. Who is he? That question is what leads one to spirituality. In fact, you just ask that question, who am I? What am I doing here? Just that question itself makes you spiritual. So in that sense, spirituality is not an ideology. It is not a concept. It is not a man-made dream. It is an existential longing to know who you are. That is why there is no other force more powerful than this individual longing. It is more powerful than all the atomic bombs man has ever created. Because this force, once it takes over an individual, it can remove everything out of its path so that it can simply focus on the individual. Questioning, who am I? What am I? Why am I? Why am I breathing? Why am I eating? Why am I walking? Why am I dreaming? Till an individual comes to this fundamental questioning of who he is, he is simply lost in the collectivity. And of course, you cannot recognize an individual in religion. Religion is just a collective ideology. So if you are a Hindu, or if you are a Muslim, if you are a Christian, does it tell anything at all about you? No. It can only say something about where you have grown up. In fact, everything, the way you look, the way you talk, the language that you use, everything is acquired from outside. It is simply a process of accumulating things from the outside. All this has only submerged the individual, it has only hidden the individual. See, now more than ever, the world is moving towards the liberation of an individual. See, there was a time for kings, there was a time for priests, there was a time for governments. Now the force is the individual. Because if you look at what is happening around, constantly through our innovations and developments, we have given an individual an absolute power to express himself. At least there is some corner on this planet where an individual can say whatever he wants to say, and there are enough means through which his words can be spread around the world. So which simply means the voice of the individual is the most important, and it is the strongest voice. See, there was a time, even for me to share this, such a simple existential process, if I had to share this, I had to get the permission from my religious community. They will decide whether what I am saying makes sense or not. And then the country has to approve it before they decide whether what I am telling is helpful for people or not. In this process, individuality was completely drowned. An individual lost all his significance, because now he can only express those things that his community can approve. But an individual wants to express himself. He sees something, he gets curious about it, and he wants to talk about it. Now, if that fundamental right of a human being to see, question, and to speak, if that is taken away, then you're taking away his entire individuality. Think about it. There was a time when Galileo published his papers that, following on the teachings of Copernicus, he actually figured out that we are on a round planet and it is rotating around the sun. And during that time, it was an absolute heresy. By the way, the word heresy literally means going your own way. That is all what it means. If you go your own way, then you are a heretic. Then you're not following my religion, so you are not important to me, or rather you are a danger to me. So in that sense, Galileo was a danger to the church, because church had always believed that the earth is flat and it was created in 5.5 days. If it can be 6 days, why not 5.5 days? Here Galileo says earth is not the center of the universe, it's rather the sun that is the center, and earth rotates around the sun. Now, he was branded as a heretic. His papers were not allowed to publish. In fact, they forced Galileo, they told him that you have to mention at the end of your thesis that this is only a speculation and this is not the truth. Only then, only if he puts that condition, they'll publish those papers. See, in a way, we have come a long way from that. Now, an individual is free. Theoretically, he is free, but psychologically, he is still bound by the same suppression that has kept him in bondage for so many centuries. because man comes through this collective consciousness. So whether he knows it or not, there's a part of him that knows that his ideas were subjugated at one point in time. He has that fear within him of expressing himself freely. And also, in a subtle form, this suppression has continued to this day in the form of the family, in the form of the community, the religion, and the ideologies of the country. In a way, an individual is still bound, but he is more bound psychologically by his own mental process than by anything else. An individual, if he can step away from his psychological burdens and if he can explore his life from the pristine purity of his own consciousness, the answers that he's going to get will simply astound him. It will completely put him on a different realm of reality, because an individual is only one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is divinity. All the best of qualities that you're seeking for. See, what is an individual searching? He's searching for absolute freedom. He's searching for happiness. He's searching for goodness. He's searching for love. He's searching for a way to go beyond his pain and suffering. He wants to simply be out of pain. Now, all these qualities put together is what we call divinity. Divinity is not a person, it is the best of these qualities. And the search to reach to that divinity can begin only from the individual.